So before I took this program, I was spending so much money on different doctors trying to figure out what was wrong. I was diagnosed with interstitial cystitis and constantly going to the bathroom, worrying that it was something I was eating, restricting my eating, tracking everything, stressing out, not being able to enjoy my life because I was worrying like, oh, if I have a beer, what's going to happen? If I eat buffalo wings, what's going to happen? And it was kind of morphing into also vulvodynia, and I was having all these symptoms that were just making my life miserable. So when I joined and I just accepted that these were mind body symptoms, and I learned like what a nervous system in safety feels like, things started to change. Like, I don't track any of my food. I eat whatever I want now. I haven't gone to a specialist for this since last August or seen any doctors. So I just thank Grace and her program so much.
Hey there, and welcome to the Heal with Grace podcast. I'm your host, Grace Secker, and I'm a holistic licensed therapist and nervous system coach who believes that the chronic and often unseen symptoms you're living with are a sign of something deeper going on, a sign that your nervous system needs attention. In each episode, I'll share the science behind the most common chronic health disorders, plus holistic tips using mental, physical, and spiritual practices. You'll hear what I've learned in my journey and the true stories from our trusted guests, so you can feel less alone in your experience and give yourself grace no matter what you're going through. So without further ado, settle in and get cozy. It's time to heal with grace. Hey, Andrea, thank you so much for coming on. I'm excited to hear where you are now and just how your story has been. So I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Why don't you just give everyone a little bit of an idea of like, who are you? Where do you live? And why are you even here? Like, why did you even start the Mind Body Healing Method?
Yeah, I am a mom of two. I'm here in upstate New York. I'm also a lactation counselor and I own an online business. And I've had this high stress personality my whole life, but I came to find you on Instagram and this most recent health crisis that I had been having for the past 2 years, which is, I guess, technically interstitial cystitis, which like I had experienced my first bout of it. Looking back, it seems like I have had it like for a really long time and just hadn't really been diagnosed. But like 10 years ago, before I even had kids, that was my first like bout of doctors and all this testing. And that's when I was first like given that. But it was always this thing of like this diagnosis of exclusion. So I really never bought into that, especially because like after I had my kids, like during my pregnancy, it all went away. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I really don't have that. So whatever. Fast forward to 2024. I started noticing, that I was like peeing a lot. So if you don't know what interstitial cystitis is, the best way to describe it is like you feel like you have a UTI, but you don't have a UTI. There's no bacteria present. So yeah, it's not fun. So when that started happening again, I was like, okay, started by going to the doctors and they obviously like diagnose you with a UTI. So I wasn't really like privy to this being that same condition from 10 years ago until it started, ramping up. And it did so ramp up, change, morph into different symptoms for the last 2 years up until November of 2025 when I found you. So I can go into a little more detail. I don't want to jump right out of the gate with my whole story, but that's basically why I found you. Because I was like at the end of the, like, could it be this? Could it be this? Could it be this? Could it be this? And like nothing was working.
Ooh, did you have any other types of health diagnoses or concerns or issues along with that, either, back before being pregnant or now, anything else that went along with it?
Well, I've always had anxiety, like been medicated. I went through a period of time shortly after 2020 for about a year and a half with like joint pain, like completely unexplained, bordering on like fibromyalgia being mentioned. But again, that's another diagnosis that was just exclusion. It's like, well, we don't know what's wrong with you, so here's a label. So then it like magically went away. So I have had these little bouts of these unexplainable symptoms throughout my life. And that's kind of why I started exploring this mind body stuff, because that was one of the key components of having one of these psychosomatic conditions where you have these conditions and they come and go throughout your whole life.
Can you track to times like when it was heightened versus when it went away? Do you associate that with anything going on in life?
No, not really. I'm not one that has specific traumatic incidents that spike that. I kept thinking that was, no, it can't be this because I don't have any like huge trauma. But I think it's from doing your work and reading some other books. I think it's more the personality aspect of just
Mm.
my nervous system constantly being activated by day to day life, where it must just build and build and build and build until it can't take it anymore.
Tell me more about that. Like, what did you learn about your personality characteristics and the anxiety that you saw correlated or affected your health, the conditions?
Constantly like living in fear a lot of the times, being like in fight or flight. And a lot of my anxiety is health based and like worry, like hypochondriac, I guess, not like diagnosed or anything, but like worrying about different health conditions, Googling, spiraling, that sort of stuff. But from a very early age, I was just raised, this could happen, this could happen. You better be careful. Like, constant vigilance, constant
Mhm.
hypervigilance. So I think that is the main thing.
Yeah, and I remember that early on too when we were talking about it. In the beginning, the main concern where you were like, "Well, I don't know if I can get out of this because I'm just so fixated on it. I'm so hyper vigilant towards it and always questioning and wondering." And before, I think you had calmed this down, like you said, but before you were going to a bunch of different doctors and specialists, right? But
Yeah.
at the point where I was talking to you, you were like, "Well, I don't, why would I do it? It doesn't help." But you
No.
still were in the spiral of thinking about it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
What helped you get out of that then?
Or am I fully 100% believing that your mind is causing your symptoms is the only way to get out of them. Because if you keep thinking, well, maybe if I go to this doctor and maybe if I try to take this, it's still telling your brain this is something that needs to be fixed and this is not safe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
once just fully accepted it, and it was a very long process because I didn't happen upon your stuff, and that was the first time I ever heard of Mind Body. I have the book Unlearn Your Pain, and I read, what's the other one? The Way Out.
Uh-huh.
But I never fully believed, like, even though doing the work, I think investing in the program is what made me be like, okay, well, I invested in this, so I need to do this now.
Is there anything else around that that you feel like that was the time for you? Because there's a lot of people like that too. Like, I've read the books, I listen to your podcast all the time. It's still kind of
Yeah.
circling, right? Like, was
Yeah.
there anything else that really helped you lean in?
It
Time.
just like being at the end of the rope of like, I'm not going to spend more money on doctors. What is the point? There's like zero point of going to the doctor, getting another prescription, getting your hopes up that this is going to work, then it doesn't, being frustrated. Then you spend all this money and like, you're still not better,
Yeah.
which is
I
always a
remember one.
risk too. Like taking any program is a risk. You could spend money and you could not be better, but it just so
Yeah.
happened that this was the thing that improved things for me.
Yeah. Exactly. There's people that go through multiple different programs, right? And for
Yeah.
some reason, time, place, cognition, environment, they end up making progress in one of them. And for you, this was it. So, and it happened. I remember there was struggle in the beginning, and then it was like one week you showed up and you're like, it went away.
Yeah.
What was that? Do you know what clicked for you? Was it just timing and
I was just
practice?
yeah, I was just doing the practices.
Yeah.
And then there's been flare ups. I don't want to make it seem like I'm symptom free all the time because then once you feel better, then you stop doing this stuff. And then you're like, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. It's all fixed. But then
Yeah.
like something comes back. So I probably need to be better about that. But like when it does come back, I just don't freak out. I'm like, oh, well, this is going to pass. Like this is irrelevant to my life. I'm still going to do this, do that, like do whatever I want. That was the main thing that had me so miserable as far as the condition. And like the symptoms weren't like I don't have it bad as other people. I'm not going to lie. Like they were livable. They were just very, very annoying and frustrating. Like, so I am kind of able to ignore them. But before that, they were like always on the back of my mind.
Mm.
Like, but once I kind of was just like, yeah. this is a symptom and I can go
Uh-huh.
pee if I need to go pee. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Then I started over those 2 years before I joined the program, it would alternate between, like, interstitial cystitis and, like, vulvodynia, which is just, okay, you feel like you have a yeast infection, but there's no yeast infection. That was, I think, worse to deal with than just, like, having to pee. I think that's what keep coming back, like, that was what really made me be like, "Okay, I need to, like, invest in this because that's annoying." But even if those sort of things do come up, I just think to myself, "Well, this is gonna go away soon," so it's like a non-issue, and I keep going through with my normal life, like, everything is fine. The main things that made it so miserable were avoiding things that I really like food, going
Mhm.
through a billion different diets, which I think just makes things worse because that even gets you into more hypervigilance, like, "Oh my god, I ate a banana. What if this happens?" You know what I mean? Like, not being able to enjoy life, worrying every time you go out, or should I have a drink? Like, what if I have a drink and, then I have to pee? Like, just worrying about all that is like really disruptive to life. So once I just started eating whatever I want without a care, drinking whatever I want without a care, like the symptoms improved.
So now what does it look like with food, diet, symptoms, like week to week
I don't
for you?
I eat whatever I want, I drink whatever I want, I don't worry about what it's gonna do because now I know that that's not what's causing my symptoms, like, without a doubt. It doesn't make sense, like, that it would. Like, I was tracking very, very religiously, which again just makes you more, like,
Mm.
hypervigilant. It just makes you more in the spiral and, like, going down the rabbit hole, but, like, I did it all. Like, do you have to do that to get to a place where you believe that it's not your problem? Maybe.
Yeah,
But, like, now I just know it's not my issue, so why would I, like, restrict myself? And I was also restricting things that were, like, healthy, so that's not healthy either.
right, right. It makes it so much worse, and I mean, to be honest, I can't answer this for everyone, but yeah, you have to go through that to get to this point. Most people's story is
Yeah,
because that's the way that we see our health and
yeah.
what you do to treat your physical health, right? So probably, and sometimes it eliminates the constant searching of, well, maybe there's more because you've unturned every stone. So you're like, okay, I'll try this mind body thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It happens, just is what it is at this point. Would you, like, if you could tell yourself or someone that was in your position when you were constantly searching, knowing what you know now, would you tell them something different or what would you say?
Yeah, I always I tell people this all the time, "Stop wasting money on these functional doctors, stop giving up gluten, it's not gonna do anything, it's making you miserable. Stop pouring money into more prescriptions and stay away from Reddit."
I love that last one. Perfect. Reddit and Facebook is just don't.
Yeah, no, I quit Facebook groups, like, a long time ago. I do remember in 2015 when I was first, diagnosed with interstitial cystitis, like, joining this Facebook group, and it was so depressing and so sad all the
Mhm.
time, and then, like, I played a little bit around with Reddit, like, as one does, because you're just so desperate, but it's just so much better just not looking at it ever. I will never go into another medical Reddit ever again.
Good. It sounds like then you're really solid in the approach. Like, even in you have a flare, if things come up, right? You recognize there's nothing physical you did, so you don't look at your diet. You don't go look at, "What did I eat that could have caused this?" or "What did I
Yeah.
do?" Right? You're just moving through it, moving on.
Yeah, like, I knew that I could have a flare-up a couple weeks ago because, like, I could feel my body, like, I was having daily crash outs with my kids. We homeschool, and you'd think it'd be, like, easier with summer and not having to do schoolwork, but, like, it wasn't easier because they were unstructured, and I was having crash outs with them about, like, screen time and, like, fighting and stuff, and my body really started to feel it, so of course I'm having a flare, and I'm like, "Of course this is happening because my nervous system has been just freaking out the past week." So, like, then I have to go back to, like, the meditations and stuff.
Mhm. So you do recognize that, right? You can, like you said, you can feel in your body when you're probably past your capacity. Your nervous system
Yeah,
is stressed.
yeah,
Okay. And so you know what to do then when you feel that.
yeah,
I think that's really important. That's what I don't know if you say I'm recovered or I just don't have it anymore, what words you use. There's a bunch of different words, but I mean, that's pretty much what it's about. Understanding
Yeah.
your body signals, helping yourself move through it, and then overarching seeing, okay, what can I do overall week to week, day to day to set myself up?
Yeah.
But you also can't be perfect. I mean, you're not
Mhm.
there's stress in life. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd use the word, "I'm recovered, I'm better." It's just like
Right.
whatever symptoms, they're just, like, irrelevant. And also, like, with health anxiety, I guess there's a term called body noise where you
Mm,
don't have to pay attention to every single ache and pain or, like, just random thing. Your body is like a body in the world. There's gonna be different things that it does, and you don't have to, like, spiral or, like, start Googling, like, my left toe hurts. Do I have cancer? Which is what I do normally.
that's a pretty big shift then from Googling something like that,
Yeah.
right? Going to the extreme
Yeah.
to just seeing it as body noise.
Yeah. I worked through a lot of that stuff with a therapist.
Yeah.
Over the years, like COVID actually helped a lot because, where
Mm,
some people got super hyper vigilant and like OCD, I guess, for lack of a better word, during COVID, I kind of was just like, well, I don't know. You can't control everything. Like, it is what it is. So, like, I just worked through that kind of tolerating different things that were happening in my body or tolerating, like, different health risks and stuff.
that's the treatment, if you will, for health anxiety and or OCD type thoughts
Yeah.
is learning to tolerate and be okay with it being unknown,
Yeah,
essentially,
yeah, yeah. That was yeah,
right?
and that plays a part in the like you were talking about before, the personality and what was my personality type that, like, caused this, and I think that
Mhm,
is the main thing is fear around uncertainty. So, again, like, this isn't just about the symptom. Like, I think I might have said this to you in a group or something, but I feel like this is not just about this was never just about, like, the symptoms. It's like, I need to change my whole like, personality. Not, like, change my personality, but change the way I approach life, and that's the thing I don't think I can say I'm recovered. I'm not like, "Oh, yay," like, "I have 0 anxiety now," like, but now just having being cognizant of that as a thing. Some people go through their whole life, they don't even know how to examine their thoughts, right? I don't know if this is
mhm.
getting too technical, like,
No, no,
they're
no, this is great. Yeah.
they don't even know that, like, their thoughts are not them or their thoughts are not real. Like, just even knowing
Mhm,
that is, like, a step.
mhm,
So it really is, I think, a much bigger picture than, like, "Let me get this symptom gone,"
mhm.
even though that can happen as a result.
Exactly, exactly. That is oftentimes that's how you get to this work, obviously,
Yeah.
right? But there's so much more that comes from it that's actually the whole point in the first place. And yeah, whatever comes from that can be a decrease in symptoms or less body noise or something like that because we're not fixating on it or fearful of it. And we're learning to separate ourselves from our thoughts, our
Yeah, yeah.
feelings, whatever's happening. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's important. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
One of the things I was this from your program where it went through all the feelings and then it was like, instead of saying, like, "I am angry," it's like, "I feel angry." And
Mhm.
then, like, I'm aware that I feel angry, like, taking those steps.
Mhm.
That was really helpful. Trying to think of what else I did frequently. I did the heart coherence one pretty frequently
Mhm. Tell me more about that. Why did you go to that frequently?
because I like how it says, like, visualize or feel in your body, like, a feeling of joy. I think, like, trying to kind of go through life with that feeling is like, very, very helpful, and that it's not like a thought, right? It's like a feeling, and that, to me, helps me recognize safety in my nervous system, which, like, we don't normally feel that every day. You're not, like, going through doing the dishes, like, feeling that euphoria
Mhm.
sort of feeling, but,
Mhm.
like, it's still available to you. So, like, understanding that that's what it means when your nervous system feels safe is really important.
Mhm. It's learning not only what that feels like, but bringing it about more and
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
We have to intentionally feel it, bring it, because you're right, it doesn't just automatically happen at all, really.
No.
Yeah, yeah. What else helped you? Anything else
So,
that
like,
really especially with anxiety?
bringing about that feeling, this is so corny.
Let's have it.
Sometimes in that particular meditation, it's like, think of a time where like you felt just joy and freedom. And a lot of the times it'd be like when I'm on vacation, because like I have all the other
Mhm,
times I'm like rushing around, let's do this, let's do this. It's a mess. Let's clean. Like, we got to get this schoolwork done. But like when you're on vacation, like all of that is gone. So like that was something that I would frequently think of, so I tried to, like, channel, like, okay, I'm, like, on vacation vibes throughout my day, and then another thing that I would frequently think of is, like, I would always think of myself when I went to the Eras tour, like, the feeling of, oh
I
my
love
god, like,
that.
this euphoria that I felt, and, like, so
Yeah,
listening to music was a severely underrated tool because it allows you to be in your body and
mhm.
just kind of feel that, so those are 2 things I kept going back to as well.
So you used those tools to help your body come into that state of
Yes.
joy, euphoria, presence. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and not in anxiety, fear, or whatever, yeah, whatever
Yeah.
else was causing the stress. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, okay. When did you first notice something was actually changing?
I think when I stopped, like, because I would mentally think about in my head, it's always like, okay, when's the last time I peed? And
Mhm,
give myself a gold star if it had been 3 hours or something. You know what I mean? It's just
mhm,
constant all day thinking, "Okay, I last peed." It's kinda, like, similar to when you're, like, breastfeeding a baby and you're, "Okay, when did I last feed? When's the next feed gonna be?" Like, so when I
mhm.
stop actively occupying brain space with, like, when I'm gonna have to pee, that's, like, a win.
Yes, because it's going in the background. It's not constantly in the forefront of what are your symptoms? When did you pee? How is your body?
Yeah,
I think it's one of the most helpful things because, like you said, it changes your day to day. It doesn't take up so much space,
yeah.
right? And mind space. So, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you think is important to know that was helpful for you that other people should know about this work?
Another thing I did was I stopped using, I don't know if this is good advice for everyone, but, like, depends on your condition, but, like, I stopped using any, like, of the medications that I had gotten, the creams and stuff, because if I was gonna go into it, like, fully believing it was my mind, then I didn't need this cream. So, really haven't, and then, like, if I did use a cream or, like, I mean, I didn't take any pills. Like, if I did use a cream, I'd be like, "Oh, this is just, like, for dry skin." Like, I wasn't like, "Oh, this is going to fix this
Mm.
condition." And then I did stop going to doctors. Like, obviously, I went for my checkup and all that, but, like, I stopped seeking out different doctors. I had an appointment with a specialist that I canceled. I just stopped all that.
You're right in that it depends totally on the condition, but the nuance, like you just said, is if you were gonna use it, it was just maybe a little support, right? Or
Yeah,
dry skin
yeah,
instead of I have to use these things or else. I have to
yeah,
use these things to fix or else I'm gonna be having symptoms.
yeah.
That's the big shift. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much for
You're
sharing your
welcome.
story. As you know, it helps other people to
Yeah,
hear. And it's great to hear where you are now, too, just to understand that you're living life and it doesn't have to lead your life and take up so
mhm,
much space. Yeah.
yeah. But I think it's just important to have all these tools in case, something else pops up, as it does.
Exactly, it does. I mean, as everyone else on here, if you've been listening, knows my story of all the different symptoms,
Yeah,
and the tools and the skills are super important to do when you're feeling something come up, right? But I think, at least just to echo what you said, the overall understanding and knowing
yeah,
actually where the symptoms are coming from was one of the biggest shifts for you because you didn't keep constantly questioning, well, what if it's this or what if it's this, right?
yeah,
And I would say the same for myself too. I mean, it's the biggest thing that has helped me. So,
yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you
Thanks.
so much again. And because you are an online business owner, is there anything, I'll link things below, but is there
Oh,
anything you want
yeah.
to share with people? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I have an online business for breastfeeding moms and, breastfeeding activism. It's at Instinctual Mothering. I share a lot on there about, protecting mother baby. And
Mm,
I also have another account where I help business owners grow on social media, and that is at Social Boob.
I love that. I love the instinctual mother one. I know that page and I love it. But I didn't know you did that. So it's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I just started doing it because people would ask me, like, "How'd you grow?" And
Mm,
yeah, I just help anyone in, like, the motherhood space that wants
yeah.
to grow.
Cool. All right.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And I will speak to everyone next week. Take care.